All right, I think I'm live. Welcome back to Living in Asheville channel. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I know. We just had. I had. That's why I'm here today on a Tuesday. Had to switch the days because it's been busy. My husband and I work together, and he's been doing 3 open houses a week for the past 6 months, I think. And one of them is on Wednesday evening, which is why I decided to switch the days and show up here on a Tuesday. So today I wanted to talk about a couple of different things, a couple of different updates. Market update is one of them. Everyone, even people who are not thinking about buying or selling or investing, curious about what the market is like. And of course, it depends on where you're at, if you're a buyer or a seller. But with a few changes that we've had and the major weather event that we had last year and elections and holidays and rates and tariffs and all kinds of things that you hear on the news nationwide or local, a lot of things impact the market conditions, how the market is moving. And so today I'm going to be covering that. I'm going to be talking about that. Questions, comments are welcome. Put them in the comment section. And I'll be sure to uncertainty. Yeah, that's one of the things for sure. Another thing I wanted to talk about, unless you've been following some of the things in Asheville, or maybe you even attended a meeting, in-person meeting for I-26 update. You probably missed it, or maybe you heard something about it. But anyways, I wanted to talk about that as well, because I think that may or may not hugely improve our lives if this project does come to fruition. And of course, Q&A at the end. If anybody has any questions about anything that has to do with relocating to Asheville, living in Asheville, pros and cons, different areas, market, the process, anything like that, feel free to put them in the comments. If you are joining, I'm curious today if anybody is here joining from Asheville or the Asheville area who live here in the area right now, or if you are joining from different town, different state, maybe, or maybe different country. Anyways, put it in the comments where you're joining from. Say hi. And let's get started. So the first thing is market. Let's talk about market. Let me add this slide to the stage, so to speak, and let's get started. So we have Florida in the room. Welcome. We have a lot of people from Florida definitely moving here, living here, having vacation homes or second homes here in the area. Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome. All right. Good to see everyone, although I don't see you guys. All right, let's get started. So, market report at a glance. And I'm going to be just kind of I'll do my best to explain everything that's on the screen so you don't have to kind of try to figure it out. So, new listings. This number, 698, is how many listings we've had last month. So not right now in June, but last month. We only have data for the past month. So last month we've had 698 new listings, which is 16% more than the month before, than in April, and 38% more than the same time last year. So this month, we are having a lot more listings. So inventory is going up. On the contract, the last month in May, we had 15% more on the contracts or new contracts than the month before. So more activity. And it makes sense, like a spring and going into summer, people are getting more active. But it's actually 4% less than the same time last year. Homes sold 3% more than last month. Again, more activity as the months are getting warmer and we're getting into summer, but 16% less than the same time last year. So Buncombe, and that's for Buncombe County. It's not just Asheville, which I don't really prefer to look at the broader picture because real estate is hyper local. And so if anybody has any specific questions about any specific area, like a zip code or even neighborhood, if it's a big neighborhood or part of town, or maybe even a town around Asheville, I'm talking about like Arden, Fletcher, Candler, Burnsville, any of those towns. If there's a name to it, I can pull it up and I can explain more. But this will kind of give us a bird's eye view, we'll give a rough idea of what's going on. And so Buncombe County added 366 more new listings to the market than it took off, which means the inventory went up, and we are slowly actually shifting towards more of a balanced market. For years, we've been in a super strong seller's market, and we're still kind of, on the last leg of a seller's market, but we are shifting towards balanced market overall. Again, area to area, it differs. And in some areas, you can already tell that it's a seller's market. In some areas, it's more of a buyer's market. But overall, home sales or closings increased in May. But again, it says here, just like it says here, just remember that many of those homes went under contract in previous month. So it's not these homes that went under contract in May. These under contract will close probably in June. Some of them might even in July, depending on when they went on the contract, last day of May, and how long the contract is. And we see contracts can be as short as 10 days, which these days I don't see the reason for such a hurry unless both parties want to, and up to 30, 45 days. 60 days would be kind of more on the extreme side, but if it's a 45-day, it'll close in July. All right, moving on. Median days on the market, DOM means days on the market, went up year over year and month over month. So it's taking longer. In other words, it's taking longer to sell a house in the Asheville area right now. Month of active, so this is just active listings. Again, it shows that active listings, more listings are entering the market. And we can tell on our end too, and we just, one or a couple agents out of like 2,000 agents here in our MLS here in this area, we have a lot of listings, a lot more listings this time around than ever before. Months of inventory, 5.8, and that went up month over month and year over year. And what that means is that, again, that number means that we're moving towards more of a balanced market. And again, it is overall, it's in Buncombe County. But I bet you, if you look, in different zip codes and different even price ranges, because real estate is hyper local, you will see that it might be different. It might be seller's market in one area and strong buyer's market in another area and in a different price range. But overall, we are moving towards that 6. Number 6 means balanced market. It's neither seller's market, neither buyer's market. It's right in the middle. It's a win-win kind of for both. Okay. Anybody has any questions, put them in the comments as I go, or I'll answer them at the end. And if you just join in, put in the comments where you're joining from, whether it's a different town, maybe part of town, or different state. Put in the comments, say hi. All right, moving on. Average lists. So talking about the pricing. Okay. So average list to sale price. Compared to last month, it went up to 98%, but went down to 1% compared to the same time last year. So let's just move on, and I'll explain later once I'm done here. Average sales price is $611,000. Talking about affordability, average sales price in Buncombe County is $611,000. Again, super broad. We have some parts of town like Colorado is in town, is in town, is in room. Hi. Like 28801, 28804 zip codes, which is downtown and North Asheville specifically, are the most expensive parts of town. So I'm sure that number is being pulled by just sales in that area and some, select sales in upscale neighborhoods. But it actually went down compared to the same time last month and compared to the same time last. We went down 3%, 11% respectively. Original list to sale price 95%, which is just 1% higher than the same time last month, but 3% lower than the same time last year. So original to list price, and that here's an explanation you can read. Basically, the difference between how much you listed the property for and how much you actually got when you came to the closing table. So 5% shave is, let's say, just on a hypothetically on a $500,000 house, $500,000 house minus 5%, that's $475,000 on average that sellers are getting less of. Again, because competition is going up, more listings means more competition among sellers. Buyers have more of an advantage. They have more to choose from. They don't have to run to the property and fill out an offer as they go, as we used to. But although there are still rare but multiple offer situations happening in our area. Again, this kind of goes over the same thing. Anything in the from like 0 to 400, like $500,000 price point is in the seller's market. So that's breaking it down by price points. Anything between 500 and like 899 is in the balance market, meaning it's neither good for buyers or sellers. It's kind of good for both. And anything above 900 is in the buyer's market. So buyers have advantage in the higher price point in the luxury market in this area right now. A lot more graphs here. I will put a link to this in the description. Let me just end here, and you can see days on the market. If anybody has any specific questions, again, this is like a bird's eye view on what's going on in greater Asheville area, so to speak, in Buncombe County. But there are certain areas that can be very different. And if you break it down by price point, it can also be different, just like that last slide that I showed you. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments about what I just covered. Also, I wanted to mention that I just had a conversation recently with somebody, and I mean, listen, I hate to, well, I mean, I don't have that power to disappoint people, but to kind of disappoint people when they come in and they think that they can buy something kind of cheap. It's not cheap for them, but for Asheville, per Asheville standards and prices that we have here, that's unheard of. So median sales price, I mean, average is 600. Median is in the mid 500s right now in Asheville itself, which, kind of, I guess, doesn't show you the whole picture and doesn't tell you the whole story. Okay, what is out there? What can you get something for, let's say, $150,000? And the answer is no. It's I mean, it's close to impossible to get anything for $150,000 right here in Asheville, in Buncombe County, even. I have somebody who is looking in that price point actually, and there were a couple of properties, but honestly, those properties were just either total rehab or they need to be completely demolished, and the value was more like in the land and the fact that there's utilities connected, maybe the septic or well, but the house itself is unlivable. So we honestly don't have anything decent when it comes to single family homes under 300 price point. I mean, you can get mobile home, single wide, some of the mobile homes in 300 price range, 300,000 price range, but not single family home. Certainly not new construction with a two-car garage like a lot of people expect when they come here. That just doesn't exist, unfortunately. So under 300,000 price point, you're looking at either condos or townhomes. If it's a single family home, it would be a single wide or double wide, which, by the way, side note, mobile homes are kind of sort of the same as on-frame modulars. So if you're looking at Zillow or any other website and it says on-frame modular, it pretty much means it's a mobile home. At least I know they're still built differently, but in the eyes of a lender, it will be the same thing. On-frame modular and mobile home, it will be the same in the eyes of your lender. Off-frame modular will be the same as stick build. So off-frame modular and stick builds are the same thing in the eyes of your lender. So that's one big distinction. So moving on, unless anybody has any questions about the market and this kind of broader, bird's eye view, like I said. Next, I wanted to talk about I-26 project. So I'm real curious if I have anybody here right now who actually live here in Asheville, because it would be, let's see, it would be, because if you live here, you would know kind of exactly what I'm talking about, or you would be at least familiar with what I'm talking about or getting ready to talk about. But again, I'm going to put this down in the description, but here is the little video.
Have occurred since the 2018 public meeting in the following areas: Hillcrest Apartments, Hill Street Community, I-26 over French Broad River, I-26 Patton Avenue interchange.
Oops, sorry.
At Hillcrest Apartments, a multi-use path has been added connecting Patton Avenue with the apartment community. The bridge across I-240 connecting to the Hill Street community has been shifted to line up with the Hillcrest entrance and incorporated a multi-use path. A multi-use path has also been incorporated into the bridge. The previous design resulted in 9 relocatees along Hill Street. The current design makes I-240 take up less space, which means 9 relocations are no longer needed. Where I-26 crosses the French Broad River, the earlier design included ramps and bridges that were removed in the newer, more compact design. This change reduced the need to relocate 2 homes and 1 business and required less land.
All right. I don't want to bore everyone to death. If I don't have anybody here who actually lives in the area, the idea is we have I-26, and then we have Highway 240 and Patton Avenue that at one point, right, kind of on the west side of town, right outside of downtown on the west side, come into one road. So all those 3 roads become one. So all the traffic that goes from I-26, from Patton Avenue, from 240, they at one point go into on one road. And it's been a huge problem for years. It's been a huge problem for, because we have more traffic, more people moving here, we have more congestion. And not even people who move here, just people who go through town, who drive on I-26 and Asheville happens to be on their way. There's no other way but to go through town. There's no other way, unfortunately. And if you thank you, Gararan, thank you so much. Yes, you're welcome. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. All right, where was I? That point when all this traffic from I-26 moving from, let's say, like Weaverville area tries to go into this other part and go on the other side of town, they have to go through this bottleneck. A bottleneck. It's only like a two-way highway, two-way road. One way is this way and the other way is going the opposite way. It becomes a huge bottleneck. It's always backed up. If you live here in the area, you know exactly what I'm talking about, like going from, let's say, Weaverville or Woodfin and trying to get on Patton Avenue, go to Earth Fair or go to West Asheville. Pain in the neck, major pain in the neck. It's just, I don't even want, there's always traffic, no matter the time of the day of the week. There's always like this bottleneck of the situation. And so what they are trying to do, let me pull, and I know it might be boring. Let's see. Okay, I think it's this one. All right, let's try this. Yep, I think it's this one. So what they're trying to do right now. I don't think you can hear me if I'm not here. Okay. Again, if you don't live here, it might not make any sense to you. But this is how you get from Weaverville. Let's say this is Weaverville right here. And right now, all the traffic goes through like right here and tries to get either this way or this way. So they are trying to make a new kind of road starting from UNC exit. That's an exit away from this Bowen Bridge over French Broad River, and have one bridge and the highway kind of go around and get connected and on the other side, on the farther side, so they avoid this whole area right here where locals drive. And same goes for this part, so that people will just continue traveling kind of through Asheville, but not having to go into town, into the town road, so to speak, and interfere and be in the same traffic with locals who are just trying to go to school, who are just trying to go to the grocery store. So this project has been in the works for years. Last time I went and attended the meeting for the Chamber of Commerce organized, I was pregnant with my daughter, so she's 5 now. It was like 6 years ago. They were doing all these updates and how it was going to be the biggest, like billions of dollars. Well, I mean, I think it's like $2 or $3 billion project, one of the biggest in North Carolina. And I don't know what happened. I guess COVID. Just blame it all on COVID. Everything just, nothing was progressing, nothing happened. And now again, they came up and came back with a different idea, different project. It met a lot of criticism from a local community because of the way they designed those bridges, and it's gonna look ugly and whatnot, and some other things. Not just that. But they're claiming it, DOT is claiming that it's a more cost effective. It's going to cost less. It's not going to interfere with current utilities that are in place in all those places that would need to be reconfigured, removed, and basically interfered with the construction of all these bridges and exits and ramps and all those things, things that go into that. And so let me also share, again, I'm going to put it in the description of the video. but you can read more about, why it's needed, why we need this, the purposes, and all that good stuff. If you want to follow along, I highly recommend actually signing up for AVL. What is it? AVL Watchdog, I think is the name of. Let me see. Hold on. AVL Watchdog. Yeah, AVL Watchdog newsletter. I'm gonna put it. Let me add that screen so you can see. It's a basically a team of independent. Oh, it didn't change. Journalists. John Boyle, I think, used to work for Asheville Citizen Times. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody fact check me. But here we go. This is Watchdog. You can sign up for the newsletter. It's free. And unlike some local news outlets that can be just, I don't know, more entertaining and not so much informative. These people actually, keep you up to date. And that's how I even knew about the meeting that they had last month or a month before, because it was not very publicly or well advertised for the public. In any case, to make a long and boring story short, I don't even know when it's going to come to fruition. It all sounds great on paper, just like some other projects that sound great on paper and just never came to fruition. We'll see. I'm going to keep you updated as any new information comes available, or any updates about this or any other projects that can greatly impact our quality of life here in the Asheville area. But if you have any questions right now, put them in the comments, and about this or market, any specific questions about the area. I know a lot of people still think that Asheville's been just wiped out and it's still doom and gloom here. And reality is, I read somewhere that 95% of homes didn't even get damaged in the hurricane last September, which, if you quantify 5% that did get damaged, it's a big number. But Asheville is open. All other areas are pretty much open too. Even Marshall, North Carolina, that was one of the worst damaged downtowns in the area, is open now. Quite a few businesses there opened up, so they welcome visitors. Come and support local businesses. And when you come here, especially in the downtown area, River Art District, West Asheville, it's nothing but local businesses, and they're great. It's easy to support them because they have great food, great service, great products that they offer, and that's what we love to do. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, I'm gonna jump off, and I need to run and get some drone shots for an upcoming listing for another one. So we are adding inventory to the market as well. And right now, it's either very, very competitive pricing and marketing of the property, or if you're willing and able to, kind of like whoever holds the breath longest wins. I've seen that happen to properties been on the market for 3 or 4 months and selling for very close to the original asking price. But I know it can be nerve-wracking for a lot of people, and it's just, a lot more inventory, not as many buyers in the area, creating this market shift. So it's a great time to be a buyer in this area because, I don't want to say you can get a good deal. Like, don't expect to just have hundreds of thousands of dollars off of the purchase price, but there are some good opportunities. and you never know what those sellers are willing to compromise and willing to negotiate. If you have any questions about any of that or anything that has to do with buying, selling, relocating, investing in the Asheville area, reach out to me and my team. You know how to find me. Our contact information is always in the description of each video. And I hope everyone enjoys the beginning of summer. We are actually going to Sliding Rock tomorrow. I'm excited about that. If you never heard about it, if you never visited, if you come in to visit Asheville or the area, go to Sliding Rock. It's an amazing place, just about 50 minutes southwest of Asheville in Brevard in Pisgah National Forest. All right. And you're welcome, TD4ND. I will see you next time. I'll try to now be more here on Tuesdays, since again Wednesdays are our or my husband's open house, and somebody has to watch out and take care and make sure those feral kids do not break the house. All right, bye, see you later.